Hi guys, who's ready for chapter 2 of My Father's Dragon? Let's remember what happened in chapter 1. In chapter 1, we met Elmer Elevator and the cat. And Elmer told the cat all about how he wanted to fly an airplane. And the cat told Elmer all about Wild Island and how he had seen something there that made him very sad. So let's find out what happens in chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called My Father Runs Away. Now, Wild Island, said the cat, is practically cut in two by a very wide and muddy river. The river begins at one end of the island and flows into the ocean at the other. Now, the animals there are very lazy, and they used to hate having to go all the way around the beginning of the river just to get to the other side of the island. This made visiting very inconvenient and mail deliveries very slow, particularly during Christmas rush. Crocodiles could have carried the passengers and mail across the river, but crocodiles are very moody and not very dependable, and they're always looking for someone to eat. They don't care if animals have to go all the way around the river, so that's what the animals had to do for many years. What does all this have to do with airplanes? Asked my father, who thought the cat was taking an awful long time to explain. Be patient, Elmer, said the cat, and she went on with the story. One day, about 4 months before I arrived on Wild Island, a baby dragon fell from a low-flying cloud onto the bank of the river. He was too young to fly very well, and besides, he had bruised one of his wings quite badly, and he couldn't get back on his cloud. The animals found him soon afterwards, and everybody said, "Why, this is just what we've needed all these years." They tied a big rope around his neck and waited for the wing to get well. This was going to end all their river-crossing troubles. "I've never seen a dragon," said my father. "Did you see him? How big was he?" "Oh, indeed, I did see the dragon. In fact, we became great friends," said the cat. "I used to hide in the bushes and talk to him when nobody was around." "He's not a very big dragon. He's about the size of a large black bear, although I imagine he's grown quite a bit since I left. He has a long tail and yellow and blue stripes. His horn and his eyes and the bottoms of his feet are all bright red, and he has gold-colored wings." "Oh, how wonderful," said my father. "What did the animals do with him when his wing got well?" "Well, they started training him to carry passengers, and even though he was just a very baby dragon, they worked him all day and all night sometimes too. They would make him carry heavy loads that were much too heavy, and if he complains, they twist his wings and beat him. He's always tied to a stake on a rope just long enough to go across the river. His only friends are the crocodiles, who say hello to him once or twice a week if they don't forget. Really, he's the most miserable animal I've ever come across. When I left, I promised I'd try to help him someday, although I can't see how I'm going to do it. The rope around his neck is big, and the toughest rope you can imagine, with so many knots, it would take days to untie them all. Anyway, when you were talking about airplanes, you gave me a good idea. Now, I'm quite sure that if you were able to rescue the dragon, which wouldn't be the very least easy, he would let you ride him anywhere you wanted, provided you were nice to him, of course. How about trying it?" "Oh, I'd love to," said my father. He was so angry at his mother for being rude to the cat that he didn't feel the least bit sad about running away for a little while. That very afternoon, my father and the cat went back down to the docks to see about the ships going out to the island of Tangerina. They found a ship that would be sailing the very next week, so right away they started planning for the rescue of the dragon. The cat was a great help in suggesting things for my father to take with him, and she told him that she knew all about she told him everything she knew about Wild Island. Of course, she was too old to go along on the trip. Everything had to be kept very secret, so when they found anything they wanted to take on the trip, they hid it behind a rock in the park. The night before my father sailed, he borrowed his father's knapsack. A knapsack is kind of like a backpack. And he and the cat packed everything away very carefully. They took chewing gum, 2 dozen pink lollipops, a package of rubber bands, black rubber boots, a compass, a toothbrush and a tube of toothpaste, 6 magnifying glasses, a very sharp knife, a comb and a hairbrush, 7 hair ribbons of all different colors, an empty grain bag with a label saying cranberry, some clean clothes, and enough food to last my father while he was on the ship. He couldn't live on mice like a cat, so he took 25 PB&J sandwiches and 6 apples, because 6 apples was all he could find. When everything was packed, he and the cat went down to the docks to the ship. A night watchman was on duty, so while the cat made loud, weird noises to distract his attention, my father ran over to the gangplank and onto the ship. He went down into the hold and hid among some of the bags of wheat. The ship sailed very early the next morning. And that's the end of chapter 2. So you're going to have to wait till tomorrow to find out what happens when he gets on the ship. Bye, guys. I love you.